Okay, so I've already put these numbers in and we are going to do everything on this one, linear regression, predicted values and everything. I want to remind you that when you start a new problem, you should go to y equals and clean this off, okay? Because it doesn't clean off by itself. So you want to be sure you always go to y equals and clean that off, especially when you're doing what we're doing right now, which is writing an equation and graphing it, okay? So hit the stat button. Remember, diagnostics have already been turned on. So once you turn them on, you don't have to turn them on again. If you don't remember how to do that, then go back and watch my other video. Okay, so I hit the stat button. I choose option number 1 for edit, and you can see here I've already put these numbers in. Remember, if you can't remember how to clear this off, you highlight the button and you press clear and enter, and then all of those will go away. If you push delete, then L2 is going to go away, and you will have to do a whole bunch of steps. I don't remember what they are to get it back. So just be sure you don't hit delete. Press clear, enter to clear that list. Okay, so I've got them in. My scatter plot is turned on, and I see that it's on. It's right there. They're going to look in L1 and L2. But before I hit graph, remember, I want to do zoom 9. Okay, so there's the scatter plot. So that we've looked at this one before, so we kind of knew what that was. It's going to be a negative correlation, and it's going to be a pretty strong one. But to see the regression and to see what the R is, we're going to do stat again. We're going to cursor to the right to highlight the calc. So I'm going to say stat, go over to calc, and we're going to choose option number 4, which says lin reg, and it says AX plus B. So the A is going to be your slope and the B is going to be your y-intercept, okay? So we're going to choose option number 4. And it's going to, where do I get my numbers? L1, L2. I don't have to worry about that. Now, this one right here, you do want to put something on this one. And what we want to tell it will graph this equation for us so that we'll get that line. But in order to get that equation, we got to tell it where to graph it. And we want it to graph it in Y1. And if you'll notice down here, there's not a Y1 anywhere. There's a Y, but if we hit that Y, I think it's the letter Y, not the Y1. So to get the Y1 right there, it's like I'm, giving you a map in the grocery store. I want you to go get shredded wheat. Well, where's the cereal aisle, right? Okay, so here's where you're going to find all your Y1, Y2, Y3 values. You ready? You're going to hit the alpha button and then the trace button, alpha trace. And then there's your Y1 through your Y10. Okay, so Y1 is that one right there. So you're just going to press enter. And now it's going to graph it for you on Y1. You come down here to calculate, you press enter, and there's the answer. So here's your slope, negative 0.37. So if we were writing an equation, and we would write, remember they do y hat equals negative 0.38. We'll do 2 decimal places, x plus 12 point, we'll do 2 decimal places, 88. Okay, notice here's your R. Your R was a negative, and we knew it was negative 0.91. That's a pretty strong one, okay? And now if you hit your graph button, not only will you see your scatter plot, but it'll also now graph that line, okay? All right, so now we can see the scatter plot, we can see the line. Now we're going to do some predictive values. So I want to know what's the y value when x is, I don't know, let's say 7. Or what about when x is 12? Or what about when x is, I don't know, 20? Okay, so here's some given x values, and I want you now to find the y value. So like if x is 7, what's the y value? Okay, if x is 12, what's the y value? If x is 20, well, it's not going to stay on there. What's the y value? Okay, so that's what we're looking for down here. So here's what we're going to do to find that. It's pretty easy. We're going to get off this graph screen, and the way we get off somewhere where we don't want to be is we do second quit. Okay, and now we just want to tell the calculator that we want to plug this number into that equation. Well, remember where we put that equation? We put it on y1. So we're going to have to get to the y1 again. So we're going to go alpha trace, choose y1, and then we're just going to open parentheses and type in 7. Okay, so the y value when the x value is 7 is 10.2. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. Alpha trace, pick the y value, and this time we're going to type in 12. And 12 is 8.3. And then we do expect it to be going down because it was a negative correlation, right? So the higher the x values, the lower the y values. So we're going to do it one more time. Alpha trace, pick option number 1. And we're going to say when x is 20, what's the y value? And it was 5.3. So we'll try to squeeze in 5.3 right there for 20. Okay, so that's the way you do regression and prediction on the 84 calculator.